everyone, my name is Alana and today I wanted to look at how to reduce your blood pressure. Just some quick tips, and if you have any questions at the end, feel free to send us a message. In simplest terms, blood pressure is really how hard your blood pushes against the artery walls, and hypertension is a medical term used to describe high blood pressure. So hypertension occurs when there is too much pressure in your blood vessels, and this can damage your blood vessels and cause health problems. And anyone can develop high blood pressure, but it becomes more common as you get older. So it's kind of like saying it's similar to pumping too much air into a tire or a balloon. Optimal blood pressure is 120/80 for most people and 130/80 if you have diabetes. Hypertension is when your blood pressure is just consistently elevated. So why do we care about hypertension and reducing blood pressure? Well, hypertension is a well-established risk factor for coronary artery disease, heart failure, and stroke. It's also linked to diabetes, and likewise, individuals with diabetes or heart disease or high cholesterol benefit from reducing their blood pressure, and it helps prevent vascular complications in those conditions. One of the best ways to improve your blood pressure through diet is to reduce your sodium or salt intake. So table salt is sodium chloride. And to do this, one of the best ways is really to reduce your processed food intake and eating out less often, cooking from scratch more often, and processing really just, they add quite a bit of salt, you don't always taste it actually, and sugar and fat in the processing just to increase the shelf life. So eating foods that are closer to nature, and not everything in that picture is high salt, for example, the syrup is not, but things like Spam and the canned ravioli can be quite high in table salt. And really, salt isn't naturally occurring in large amounts in food, so things without a label typically are quite low in salt. And so when grocery shopping, I strongly recommend practicing label reading, and for more information on how to do that, I suggest watching Jillian's video that she made about a month ago, and choosing items with less than 15% of your daily salt. This is actually quite difficult to do, but it kind of is an eye-opener sometimes when you're reading some of the labels to see how much salt is actually in there. Ideally, we would all get under the 100% of the daily value amount in a day because we all get too much salt. And salt is really important for maintaining blood pressure, but in today's diet, we just get too much from the processing. In addition to getting too much sodium, we tend to not get enough calcium, magnesium, and potassium, which are all very important electrolytes in the regulation of blood pressure. And so to get more of those, we recommend increasing your vegetable and fruit intake, and I've got frozen and canned pictured here because they're just as good as fresh. When it comes to canned, I recommend rinsing it under water to get rid of that extra salt, or to buy the lower sodium or 0% salt canned versions of those. To increase your nuts and seeds and beans, chickpeas, lentils, so legumes, intake for as far as meat and alternatives go. Of course, wild meat is also a great option because wild meat is not going to have that extra sodium. Choosing dairy products for that calcium, and whole grains. And so the other piece, of course, is when you're looking at the label reading for salt, choosing options that are 5% or less for your daily sodium. And so to achieve some of these things, gardening is going to be key to get extra fruits and vegetables. Looking into good food box programs in your communities, cooking from scratch when you can, and that way you can choose to use how much table salt you'll use, and you can also use other seasonings, so maybe that's cumin or oregano or whatever it might be, and those will add some flavor, as well as garlic. Add some flavor without adding all of the extra salt. And so again, all of these foods are quite rich in calcium, magnesium, and potassium, but they're also rich in folate, which has been shown to be beneficial in prevention of hypertension, and they're high in fiber, which has also been shown to be beneficial in the prevention and management of cardiovascular disease. And to piece it all together, what that really looks like on a plate is Canada's New Food Guide, as well as the traditional diet, which I don't have a good picture of, but for more information on this, I suggest contacting us or checking out Canada's Food Guide website. They've got some really awesome recommendations to go along with this picture. Lastly, I want to talk about a few lifestyle changes that can help lower your blood pressure aside from diet, And just like the dietary recommendations, all of these can apply to all chronic conditions such as diabetes or cancer or whatever it might be to improve your health even if you don't have those conditions. So, physical activity can absolutely lower your blood pressure and help prevent high blood pressure. And all types of physical activity count. They're anything that gets you moving really and is something that you enjoy. Quitting smoking or reducing smoking can have a huge impact on your blood pressure as well as overall health. It's probably the most important thing that you can do for your health, actually. Reducing your alcohol intake, as alcohol can increase your blood pressure. And stress management, relaxation techniques, talk therapies, meditation, whatever it might be to help lower your stress, which will help lower your blood pressure. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to contact us, you can reach us on our Facebook page, PHEC Dietitians, by phone at the PHEC Health Office, or by email at the email listed there. And so I just kind of covered the basics, and there's a lot more. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to reach out.